Hey, thank you, everybody here to 2025, our first meeting of the new year. And just like to let you know that this meeting will be streamed live and recorded for public viewing on the town's YouTube page using the following link: www.youtube.com/@town-of-Plympton-Wyoming/streams. Anybody has a pecuniary interest here tonight, you can declare it now or at any time throughout the meeting. I guess first of all, tonight I would like to welcome new chief, full-time chief, Will Davidson. 2025, January the 1st, effective. Welcome, Will. Look forward to working with you for the next several years.
Thank you.
Yep. Number 3 there on the agenda tonight, moved by Gary Atkinson, seconded by Kristen Rodriguez, that the minutes be adopted by the fire exec committee and that those confidential minutes of the closed sessions of the committee remain confidential and restricted from public disclosure in accordance with the exemptions provided in the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. We have the fire exec committee meeting minutes of November the 18th, 2024. We have the fire exec closed meeting minutes of November 18th. Anybody have any corrections, or changes, or discussion they'd like to have? Seeing none, all in favor of those minutes? Carried. With item number 4 was business arising from the previous minutes. Is there any business you have as a result of those minutes?
I have nothing.
Nothing. Anybody else? Will? Okay, moving on to accounts, 5.1. Fire exec committee, where are we here? That was moved by Kristen, seconded by Gary. Fire committee exec receives and approves the payables for November 2024, December 2024. Have them in front of you. You have them in your package. Comments or questions? Mayor Gary.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a couple questions. The service call to repair the generator at Kamaki Station for the equipment center. Did we find anything major with that one? Just see the bill is not overly high, but just something going on there.
Mr. Mayor, where are you?
November's payables.
Can't get online, so try to read.
Would just be a routine servicing, yearly servicing. Micah Station generator done and Wyoming stations was done. I think late December, early January, so that'll be next month, but it's just the routine, change the oil. Check to make sure everything's fully plugs.
There was an issue with that generator, though. It didn't come on in the one power outage, so there might have been some extra cost for that. As it looks like it's too much.
Does that company do the Wyoming one as well?
No, we had a separate or different company for Wyoming, the ones that installed the generator in Wyoming. So when we last discussed, we would kind of compare the two companies and decide on one, potentially do the service for both going forward.
Thank you. Thank you. And Team Outfitters license plates, that's the ones that go around the front of the license for fire.
That's correct. This was a rate out of license plates, so we were able to source them locally at a better price than.
Mr. Chair, that's all I have for November.
Okay. Kristen?
Yes, thank you. The I don't know what a ball intake valve 4-inch adapter is for.
Near the
very top
through the
one.
chair. Okay, yeah, so that's an intake valve for the new aerial truck. That's the valve that's on the exterior of the truck and it keeps the water in the pump
New
There's one
aerial
on-
truck,
either side.
the new ladder truck,
Yeah. Right, ladder 3.
3, yeah. Okay, and, so the lights, for truck 8. It looks like you had to retrofit them. Was there a problem with getting them
That's,
straight for straight, or you're doing something different? Or-
that's correct. They were incandescent and went to an LED light, couldn't get the one head or the same ones, it had to be slightly.
And, the pumper 3, different than the truck 3, correct? Or is this the same trucking?
Where are you looking?
Sorry, right below the LED lights,
Just where?
on Broadway service, quarter down the
Pump
page.
3 MTO inspection.
Yeah,
That's pumper 3. That's
which is different than the aerial.
then the ladder, yeah.
Okay,
That's right.
ladder 3 and pumper 3. And so I know those, so is this MTO inspection different than the inspections we were talking about at budget time where they were going to a new system?
This is those inspections, yes.
Okay, because I saw this one came in lower, which I was happy to see.
They were able to do it at a very good rate for us.
Yeah.
That is the vehicle that we will be surplusing.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. And then also on, oh. So the hydro, I find interesting. It's been really high, in Wyoming for a couple months straight there. I think you remember me asking about it, whether some new equipment may have been causing that. I just find like, does anybody turn on the lights in Kamlaki versus Wyoming? I just always see such a huge difference.
Yeah, I can't say for sure, obviously, what that through the chair, what that would be from, but there has been a refrigerator problem in Wyoming Station, so we've had that repaired. Whether that will bring it down, I'm not sure, but it was a thermostat problem, so it was likely running more often than it needed to. Other than that, there's been no new equipment. So.
And then one last item. I think it's a budget item. Wyoming Station, clean test Scott packs. Replace regulator hose assembly, or is that just a maintenance thing?
This is the Century Fire bill.
Yes.
I believe we would have to pull the invoice to be sure, but I believe we had a repair on one SCBA.
There's 1 or 2 sent out the later part of the year, yeah.
Okay.
For servicing, they weren't operating correctly.
Not the regular testing. have
It
to-
was a repair.
They have to repair it and then they would have to flow test it again, bench test it.
Okay. And that would be it for me, thank you.
November.
Oh, for November, yeah.
Yeah, I had, well, same thing as Kristen just had there. Especially the hydro. I mean, that is, extremely different, like $1,057 for Wyoming Station and $280 for Kamlaki. In September, and down the next 2 lines. Again, Wyoming Station, $720 and Kamlaki half that at $346. Like, I don't know, those are big numbers. Maybe it's just used more there than Kamlaki for training and.
I really, through the chair, I don't think it's the usage. I think it is a different building. It has pumps that run for the heating system. It has a vehicle emission recovery system that runs off a big electric motor.
There's big differences. The other one I had on there is Orkin, like $250 a month for ice, I guess. Like, there's no way that
See, it's 52.73 a month,
a
sir.
month, yeah,
So it's
per
2 months.
station, yeah.
2 months.
Can we do that ourselves? Like, we had our own container and put our own poison in it. Maybe not you guys will, but maybe our own public works, but
Yeah, I'm not, I can't speak to that. I don't know anything about poison for rodents, but I can speak to the fact that I have been involved with the fire department where we had rodents chew bunker gear, which was at a significant cost.
Yeah.
So it's, in my mind, worth the money we spend on it.
I look at a lot of this stuff,
Can I ask?
try to cut spending, what's that?
Can I add to that question?
Sure.
Thank you. What do they do?
I can tell you what they do here. They come in once a month. They have traps around the entire perimeter of the building. They have traps inside the ceiling. They have traps strategically located throughout the building. They use different poisons for everything. So the amount of time they spend just here, $52 a month would probably not cover my staff and the material times. So it's definitely very cost effective to have them do it versus our own staff.
Are they finding that many mice in 1 month?
Enough to keep the program justified. We had some friends scurrying around the lunchroom that we wanted to make sure didn't get into the files or any other documents. Given the equipment at the fire halls, I'd want to make sure that none of that sees rodent damage either, so.
Chris?
If I could add through the chair as well, the reason why we have Orkin coming in is I'm thinking about 2-3 years ago, we had mice in the fire station in Wyoming. With it being directly beside the mill, we had lots of evidence that they're in the one maintenance room on the far side of the bay, as well as in the far chair room on the opposite of the building. There was signs of them in there as well. So that's kind of where this started, probably 2 to 3 years ago. I can't say I've seen any signs since we've had this program going. Yeah, they when they first did their initial inspection back then, they said, yeah, there's probably a good chance they're coming from the mill next door, just with what they deal with. So yeah, we haven't seen any signs of them recently.
Do you hear me?
Thank you. Just to add to it. Chief Freer said that is absolutely correct. I remember back in that time when that happened. Also too, I believe that's for government building. I think they have to have a license to be doing that. For putting out poison, so I don't know if they have any staff to do it, so.
Okay.
I think I know it's high, so like we have to have it, I would endorse.
Trying to question the budget there.
No, that's a good question.
Hey, anything else on November pay? Okay, how about December?
Just a couple of observations that fire that we've done a pump test. That's a routine thing that we do every year with all of those, right?
Correct, yes.
And the Ministry of Finance to the fire college, we just spread out our registration periodically for that. We don't hit it all at once. Is that correct?
Yeah, so through the chair, the Ministry of Finance, that is the registration for the fire college will be $65 per member who signs up for a course, and they just bill it out quarterly, I believe. Come to us quarterly. We don't have any bearing on when it comes. They just tally them up, and we don't even really get an indication of who it was for or anything like that. So it's been a topic of discussion across the province with fire chiefs. So maybe some more information is needed there.
We should probably stand by and listen for more.
Yeah, I'm following.
Anything on December?
Yes, thank you. So line 1 again. Have the 4-inch ball intake valve.
Sorry,
Sorry, go ahead.
through the chair. That's the other side of the truck,
It's
the
the same
valves.
truck?
the same truck, it has a port on either side of it. Needs a valve on either side or the water falls out. So we couldn't get two of them at the same time. They were not available. Sure when we would get them.
This is one expensive water truck all the time. The 4-inch strainer. Ones where?
Orange strainer is a jet siphon, low suction strainer with a jet siphon. And that is for the Kamlaki station. Through our training this summer, we were doing pump operations. And it was noted that one of the Kamlaki apparatus, I believe tanker 8, was lacking that piece of equipment that is integral to our operations with water
Yeah.
management.
And the fire hose, the third line, that was part of a budget item for replacing hoses.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Okay. And you bring dash lights, it's a small item, I just don't know what it is.
Those are the lights that volunteer firefighters
yes.
use in their vehicles.
Okay. Needed some more? Okay. And Barrett Home, that I believe that expense was part of our budget as well,
That's correct.
the closures.
You bet.
Did you want to ask some? Do you want me?
No, keep going, you're doing fine.
Tanker 2, it looks like that wasn't part of the inspection. That looked like it was a repair.
Darch Fire, tanker 2,
Yes.
perform NFPA pump test, annual pump service. Nope, that would have been the annual
It is,
for
okay,
that truck.
okay, so we did good there too.
There was a repair on there as well. Let's see.
Yeah. And pumper 1, we did well. On the pump test and ladder testing. Pump 7, was a little bit more, but not too bad. Cause that's part of the annual that we budgeted.
Yeah.
I was a little bit nervous about those numbers, so I'm glad to see some better ones, come through. When we, at budget time, I mean. And, so ladder 3 is different than aerial 3.
Ladder 3 is different than pump 3, yes.
Yep. So. And aerial.
Yeah, we have pumper 3 and ladder 3.
Which is aerial 3?
And the ladder is an aerial device,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, you just referred to it as
I
aerial.
just refer to it incorrectly all the time.
Okay. All right, and then we have. So ladder 3, that was a big expense on that one. So is that on top of the other 2 things? So we had the 30. In November, we had the 3,200, then we got to 2,900 up top here in December, and then another 10,700. All those relate to the same vehicle.
Correct, yeah, the 2 intake valves that were purchased, those were. St. Thomas, who previously had the truck, they kept the intake valves from the truck when it was traded in. They were gonna use it on their next apparatus.
Mm.
So that's why we had to purchase the 2 of those. So those would be that components to go on the truck. The rest of the bill from Darch Fire 1200 degrees, is actually what they're called now, would be to the annual pump test, the annual aerial certification on it, the ladder testing for the ground ladders, as well as the safety of it. And they helped us out by driving the truck from or Air, it's where they are at. They drove it to the decal shop near Ingersoll to get decal while we're there, instead of having it drove all the way down here, back and forth again. So they helped us out with that, as well as some other tests and repairs they found when they did their the certification testing.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard because it's all kind of grouped into one lump sum. Like, what was the value of the new decals? Because we had talked about that when we budgeted for the purchase of the. So it's hard to know what would we expect annually on.
So the decals were paid for separately. It wasn't, those weren't purchased through Darch. They were,
No, I know, it's just grouped in here, right?
yeah, so they took this, like the signboards that are on the side of the ladder, they removed those to make it
Oh.
easier for the decal company to install them instead of standing on the side of the truck up in the air. So that's the portion of that, but yeah, everything was from the bill of the service they provided down there.
I think through the chair, maybe to more directly answer your question, the regular pump testing on that will be very much in line with what we see for pump 7 and pump 1. The only difference will be when we have the elevating device, the aerial, the ladder tested, that'll be an extra cost.
Right. And I think you said that was around 1,500 a year, something like that for that.
15 to 1,800, it was around under
Yeah.
$2,000.
Yeah, and then around 2,000, 1,800 for the annual inspections, look like what we can expect. So about 3,500. Okay, so of the 9,700, 3,500 went directly to that inspection portion.
Yes.
Are we done for now? Or do we have any more issues with this
There's
area?
the deck gun. There was some another like deficiency noted when they did their inspection on the monitor that's on the top of the ladder to spray the water. Some of the directional functions on it aren't fully working correctly, so we chose to defer that since we're in the process of training with it. But it has to go down to get the some of the lights converted on it that the Wyoming Firefighters Association is supporting. So when that goes down to air for the lighting upgrades, we will have them look at that. So that would be a cost from this year for repairs on that to get it operational.
And at this point, we don't know if that's, we're assuming it's fairly minor, but we don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and nobody's even looked at it to
Right.
know what those costs are. Yep, and then the last one is the, excuse me. The uniforms at 7,900, I think that was a budget item as well.
That's correct.
So that's it, thank you.
That's those are the station wear uniforms that we were.
You're reading?
No, I had to, Mr. Chair, thank you.
I don't have anything in December. I think Kristen pretty well covered. I was going to ask.
I gave you. the-
Oh, no, that's no problem. You're doing fine. Okay, no more questions on the account. All in favor of leaving approve the payables? Gary, thank you. Okay, moving down to number 6, staff reports. We don't have any tonight. Number 7, bylaws, nothing tonight. Number 8, correspondence and action required. Yeah, nothing here tonight. Number 9, correspondence recommended reading and routine approvals. And the letter from Petrolia thanking us for responding to the fire. Any comments there, chief, on that? Will?
No, it was nice to get the letter for sure, Chair. We of course support our neighbors as they do with us. We tend to be in need. All of us in this area tend to be in need of daytime firefighters, so it's nice to be able to have some bodies to send and in return we'll get that back. So the light system is very healthy in the area, and that's nice to see. It was a very cold day. Anyway, it was.
So mutual aid, there'd be no cost to us. That's mutual aid, right?
That's correct. Yeah,
Great thing to have, for sure.
agreed.
Any other comments on the person, anything there? on that?
No, I think it's very, it's nice to see everybody working together. All
Yeah.
positive.
9.2, grant letter. And to read that, what we receiving here. Questions on that?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Very, very specific and efficient amount of 2,260 $9.81. They didn't even round them. So was this contemplated when we did our budget? We may receive this grant?
So I have a bit of an update that I can offer you on this item. So this was not contemplated. It was very last minute that we heard about it. And Nicole was able to get an application in for it, and we we're very happy to be successful in
Mhm.
receiving the grant money. It was, the way it was designed originally, it was worded that it was to help us with resources meet our certification requirements under the new regulation for firefighter certifications. So we were pretty excited about that because of the obvious challenges that we're seeing in our budget for this year. And the budget, when the letter came and says specifically in it that it's for yeah, product from Best Buy Technology. So I later better understood that there was two streams. One was for technology and another one is for textbooks. So in preparation of the budget, I was going through all the courses that firefighters are going to have to take over the next 2 years, and there are some major textbook expenses. So I did ask them, the Public Fire Marshal Safety Council, switch the grant to the textbook stream, which will in turn help our budget, which already wasn't supporting the amount of textbooks we needed. So it comes at a very opportune time for us. It doesn't buy all of our textbooks, but it will, with our budgeted amounts and this now, I think we're in good shape.
You're already trying to deflate, taking 2,200
I'm not at all,
We got a
but
bonus 22.
but I did the math the other day, and I thought I would get all of the textbooks, and it just doesn't pencil out. So
So first, they did allow you to switch from the technology to the textbooks. They okayed that?
in principle, yes, I haven't got it in writing yet, but that's what they told me they will do.
Okay, and secondly, like, I don't know how much these textbooks cost. Imagine when in college are expensive.
They're some are $100, some are $120 to $140. They're around that price range.
And how many books per person are needed?
Well, one book per person per course.
Yeah.
It's just that we have a lot of courses on the horizon for
Right.
various people. So, and it's all a matter of what they can fit into their schedule this year and next year. So it's an up and down number, but we have 30 people this year involved in courses.
Mhm.
So that's
Let me ask one more.
You carry right on.
So in saying that, not everybody's taking these courses at the same time. So are you planning on just buying like a set and then moving them along from a group set of people?
yeah, that's a really good thought process, one that we quickly discovered we would have to embrace. We used to sign someone up to a course and say, here's your textbook, it's yours, you keep it. They are now labeled PWFD on all of them, clearly marked with the expectation that those books come back as soon as you're done the course and they get recycled to other people. Unfortunately, they change versions of the textbooks
They
on
do
a
it for-
fairly regular, yeah, on purpose, I'm sure, on a fairly regular basis. So some of the textbooks we had in stock aren't usable anymore. So, but and we'll go through this cycle, and hopefully it'll just start to go down as we go through the bulk of our certification training.
So you have plans to kind of tamp that down and review and purchase?
Absolutely, yep.
Although we don't want to hurt anybody in being able to do what they need to do either. All right, that's it. Thank
That's it, okay. Okay. New business. First one up there, go to members here, burn permit. This is one that I put on the agenda. There has been a request for farmer to demolish and burn an old barn. Actually knock it down with a high hole and put it in a pile and burn it. And I know that for a fact that we've allowed burn piles with barn material, not shingles or anything like that. But dealing with the chief, Will, on this, when you look at the burn bylaw and you read out some of the stuff that's on there, it certainly doesn't allow. Doesn't allow. Now, I know that we've well, certainly with the past two chiefs that I think it was Mr. Jordan, several times that I know of, were sent out to take a look. Take a look at what they're burning, take a look at the burn piles and approve or not approve the burn permit. But as you go through the bylaw we have in front of us, and that's what we go by, you read it. It doesn't identify demolition of buildings. It says structures, but like regular agricultural burning, for instance, means brush, residue, stumps, etc., which is normal and incidental for farming purposes, but not include structures, household garbage, petroleum products, plastics, rubber, vegetable, or animal waste, or other materials that create excessive or toxic smoke. So those are some of the guidelines there, but as you go through the bylaw, 510 on the bylaw, no person shall set a fire at a construction and or demolition site for the purpose of disposing of waste building material, rubble. That kind of puts the brakes on it right there. But then when you get down to section 6, agricultural open burning, and this is where it confused me a little bit. I thought the agricultural part of it was kind of separate from that top part, but in discussion with Will, no, the top does apply to agriculture as well. So I guess Will and I's had a bit of a discussion on this, and I know it's been allowed in the past, so what I asked Will to do, and I don't know if he's done it tonight, is take a look at the previous burn permits, which in here somewhere was back in 2012. Yeah, 18 item 18.1 bylaws 96 of 2012. Number 2 of 2016 are hereby repealed. Now, I haven't had a look at those myself, so I don't know what's changed from then to now. But the discussion that Will and I had is like, is there an issue with knocking down a barn, which is all wood, not including any shingles or anything like that, and actually burning it? It's been allowed in the past, and even this gentleman that has going to request it or has requested it, he said 2 years ago he was allowed to burn building material from a barn. No issue. So I'm putting this on here to find out. My opinion of this whole thing is that it's up to the fire department. It's up to the chief. It's not up to the ladies in the office. It's not up to this board. It's up to our fire department what they want to see allowed in burning, especially in the agricultural sector. So I think we need to clear this thing up because it's wishy-washy. One place it says you can burn, another place it don't. Another place it says, you know, it's up to the chief. He can go assess it. Even the size of the fire, he can assess whether it can be bigger. It's all in this here bylaw. So the fellow that has requested wants an answer sometime. And obviously, when I got back to him, I said, well, bylaw, talk to the chief. The bylaw doesn't allow it right now. So all we can do is take it to the fire board, review it, and see what the fire department themselves wants to do, because I know I'm not getting involved in any kind of decision for burning. That's up to fire. So, Will, I don't know what you want to say about it, but you and I were kind of in agreement that maybe some of this should be cleaned up and make it very clear, yay or nay.
Can I make some suggestions? So through the chair, I thank you for bringing this up. It was on my list this year to address this, some inconsistencies within the bylaw. I was involved in the previous one that's listed there in the development of it. This bylaw we have isn't terrible, but there are, as the chair described, there are some points in it that we probably want to clean up. I'm also okay with the burning of agricultural buildings that have been knocked down and are of clean, dry material. But we do have a bylaw in front of us that says it's prohibited. So if it's the committee's wishes, I would like to get direction to take the bylaw back. I'll look through everything, but that will be my main focus, is to change that within the bylaw so that we can allow for that, as has been done in the past. Many ratepayers have done this in the past, have burned agricultural buildings once they're knocked down and it's deemed clean and they've been looked at. You've also touched on another item that we will, and I've made note to add to, which would be an operating guideline to address how we're going to look at these burns. So that would be outside of the bylaw, but the operating guideline would tell us how and if and when and all that going to be checking on the burns before the approval process. So if those are the wishes, I think we're pretty much in line, Bob, as we spoke. I'm curious as to everyone else's thoughts, if they would like that general thought of being able to burn buildings like that. Then if there's some appetite for me to come back with some revisions.
Kristen, what do you think?
Well, it all sounds dandy to me. I mean, if you're okay with it, then I certainly am okay with it. I don't have a copy of this bylaw that you're both looking at, so I don't even know what you're referring to. So when it does come back, I guess you'll have what you have in front of you and then the proposed review. Is that how that would work? And that would go through this committee for a bylaw change?
Well, no, we'll have to go through the council in the end to approve the
Right, that's
bylaws,
why-
but I guess what I'm asking here tonight is, or the discussion that's taken place is, does the committee give Will approval to go ahead and upgrade? He was going to upgrade the bylaw anyways, or review it and make some changes, and if the fire department is in agreement that we can allow these burns, then we would have to present it to the full council for approving the bylaw or not approving it.
Yeah, so my
Yeah.
question was, and first, my statement is
Yeah.
that, of course, if the chief has no issues, there's no reason why I would. Secondly, I'm gonna come through us first and then go to.
You can.
It's just because I haven't even read the existing.
I
know what you guys are talking.
If Will's going to take it back and review it and revise it, then yes, I would suggest comes back here.
Yeah.
And then
Just
review it
ask.
and send it on to council if you.
Yeah, that we do the same, we did the same thing in environmental services and parks and rec, that departmental bylaws flow through the committee prior to going to council for vetting.
So committee agree that Will can take this back and revise it. Once again, it's up to the fire department. I mean, we're obviously the bylaws is our responsibility, but it's up to the fire department what they want to allow and what they don't want. We talked about here not that long ago about the burning of a house. Cam Lackey, if you recall, their chief blade. Chris knew that. No, it didn't happen, but right. It was in a pretty fairly close residential area, so that didn't happen. That was going to be for training purposes.
Right, so
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, like, would something like this be useful in training purposes?
So I can speak to that through the chair. for us to go to an event where the building has been demolished and tore down and piled up, there's almost always no value in training. Sounds good, but it's not, there's not usually any value. Maybe, I'm not gonna say never, but most of the times, no, there's no value in us training it. It's an interesting bylaw. They typically are contentious, of course, because there's, you know, so many ratepayers that actually work with this bylaw. It's one of the ones that's on our website. That they can access rate easily. And it does start out with some general provisions and then it goes into social campfires and then into agricultural burning. So I think you pretty easily make some distinguishment there just to make it clear.
Yeah.
And add in what we want. And then I'll just give it an entire review to make sure there's nothing, while we have it open, make sure there's nothing else that needs to be updated.
I like the idea of like keeping the agricultural part of it kind of away from campfires. Go ahead, Gary.
Mr. Chair, when was that last revised, that bylaw?
2022. Number 3, this is number 3 of 2022.
I totally endorse, let's go back to the fire department to bring back the recommendations to us and we'll take it to council after that.
Thank you.
Fair enough. Now, I know this gentleman would like to do his this winter sometime during the, let us get into the,
Understood, and I think it needs to be done before we get into that season. So the sooner the better. I'm gonna aim for have it for our next meeting, if that's possible.
when do we meet next week? Okay. No, sir. Okay, that's good. Okay, any other comments on the burn? Okay, new business, Gary,
I have nothing.
Christian, any new business?
I have a question. Those signs we were gonna do to spread out around the great flashing light. Well, I haven't seen it. Do we have them out? I've seen it in Forest. I think Forest is doing.
Through the chair. I've also had the same thought. I'm assuming the weather conditions make it so they're not doing them right now. But our public works folks have agreed to put them up. We've looked at the locations. It's all been, as far as I'm concerned, approved, and as soon as weather permits, I expect they will go up. But yeah, I'm very
Yeah,
excited to see them up. It was a great idea that was brought forward right from our own firefighters, so.
yeah. And the fact that other jurisdictions, neighboring jurisdictions, you're all kind of doing it together, which is,
Yeah, it helps.
makes total sense.
It helps, just gets the word out.
Yeah.
That's it? That's it? Geez, I had one, I lost it. What was I gonna ask? No, that's silly. Oh, well. Yeah. Okay, move into closed session now. That's it. Moved by Gary Atkinson, second by Christian Rodriguez. The committee moved into an in-camera meeting pursuant to section 239, the Municipal Act 2001, as amended for the following reasons. Item A, personnel matters. Section 239, 2B, personnel matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees. All in favor?